very good morning. Welcome, karibu sana to this Tuesday edition of Daybreak. Hope you guys are having a good day wherever it is you are. You know, today is that day, but you know, tunaendelea tutaona vile itakuwa. It's a busy day politically. But we'll wait and see what happens. Today is also a big day in terms of football. Arsenal is going to be playing against Chelsea. QT here thinks that Chelsea hawezi ni wanyonge, wako chini kabisa. I think, I'm saying this because yesterday we didn't have Sporting Monday. I personally think today could be the day that, you know, Tyler Perry, as Madea said, I buried him 8 feet. And then someone asked, Madea, don't you mean 6 feet? He said, no, I knocked him down 2 more. So that's what might happen to us now. Today might be the day they're knocked down 2 more feet. But it's all good. That's not why we are here today. But welcome. Karibu sana QT.
Asante sana.
Uko salama?
Niko fiti kabisa, fine, thank you. Manchester United tuko sawa.
Tuko sawa.
So kama Manchester iko sawa, mimi niko sawa. Bora Arsenal wako pale nini?
Yes.
Tuko fine.
So long as wasichukue kitu.
Wachukui, ulisikia wapi?
Wasichukue.
Ulisikia imeenda bro. Imeenda hii.
Imeenda man.
But tuko fiti as long as Arsenal hawafanyi mambo, mimi niko sawa kabisa. Yes.
Very good indeed. CJ, how are you doing?
I'm good, yourself?
I'm good. Yes.
Yeah.
Niko salama sana.
Welcome back from wherever.
Thank you. I was in South Africa. I was in South Africa, and well, it is an interesting experience there. I think some things are lost in translation. The way you would say please or no, or if I used to speak in mother tongue, you could listen to come. I was asking for breakfast. I asked for some cheese, and then she just looked at me and said, "Not now." So I think she meant kindly, sir, not now, but the way it rolled off the tongue, not now. Anyway, it's all good. Today we want to talk about a very interesting phenomenon, something that happens online, where a lot of people kind of find that it is easier to, rather they place a lot of value on strangers online. Of course, CJ follows me, I follow him, QT follows me, I follow her, and so yes, they're part of my followers, but there's a huge number of the 1.5 million who siwajui kabisa. However, you'll find that people find it a place where they place so much importance on the activity online that they forget to have meaningful social interactions. They forget where, beg your pardon, to draw the line. They forget what is important. You could be in the same house. CJ and QT are my friends, but then they find out things about me online before I even talk to them.
Like I normally do. I find out stuff about Willis
online.
Tuko.
Yeah, okay, so those ones are Tuko wako na their own nini.
I mean,
Nice
people will
one.
be sharing with me stuff.
Yeah.
Sending to me and saying,
But you
is
see,
this
you
true?
know the truth. You see, yeah, that's why they're
like,
asking you.
Is this true? And I'm like...
You're like, I don't know. That you're the bearer of truth. That's what they ask you, is this true? So that's what happens online. And I guess there's a line, and social media is meant to share. I think, I don't know if we still ask the question, but back in the day, Facebook would ask, what are you doing? Then you would share.
Yeah.
Or what do you think? And then you share it over there. But I think that line is quickly being blurred. QT, what do you think?
I think people go to social media to seek validation. For one, this generation that we are in, it's actually about validation, because right now, the people around me, they already know what is happening with me.
Right.
And social media does not really judge me. That's what I think. Because if I go to social media, there's something that I'm looking for that I won't get with Willis, probably with Shatta, the people around me, the people that I used to be around me. But if I go to social media, there's something that I'm looking for. So, and in this this generation, we don't want to be judged. Willis, I do not want to be judged.
Right.
And the people around me, they know my story.
Right.
For example, if I'm going through something, maybe a relationship problem, the people around me will probably be like, hizi ni shida za kujiletea. Wewe si tulikuambia uachane na hii kitu na bado una bado una maintain.
Right.
But you see, on social media, they probably don't know the backstory. They don't know me, they don't know what's going on.
So they only see what
they only see what I present to them. Right. So nikienda pale ni post kitu.
Yes.
Wase watakuwa zile za by the way, you are very right, you see. Wale watu wa social media watakuwa zile za you are right. By the way, hivyo vile umesema ndio iko. But my friends and my family, they know what's going on with me. So probably staki judgment na watu wenye wako around me. Watu wananijua vizuri, wanajua backstory. So sitapata hiyo backlash. But lazima uangalie two sides of the coin. Sometimes you go to social media, unaweza pata hiyo validation, unajua wanakuambia you're very right. There are people who look up to you. Kuna zile vitu kisema watu wana by the way, umse amesema point ya maana. But in real life utapata mabeste wako hakuna kitu yenye like wanafanya, unajua. So in this life you have to look at social media, you have to look at both sides of the coin.
Right.
Sasa zingine Willis uteka kitu upate backlash. Upate backlash na hata ni kitu innocent. But sasa on the other side, watu wenye wako around wewe, your family and friends, sasa wao ndo wanajua kweli. You see, that's the other side of social media, the bad side of social media. But most of the time utapata hii generation watu wanataka ku thrive on likes.
Right.
Like hiyo ni kitu iko, hatuwezi change hii generation. Mtu akipata likes ama mtu akipata follows on social media, and sometimes social media makes you happy, Willis. I could just be on TikTok checking out videos or Instagram and I'm just laughing. But nikiwa hapa na msee anaweza kuwa ananibother, unajua hata stories zenye ananipatia hata siko huko. But nikiingia tu hivi TikTok nimeanza kucheka, nimejibamba, yani naona tu kitu funny. So ina depend, naweza kuwa niko na stress hapa na watu wenye wako hapa wanani stress, but nikienda pale kwenye social media najibamba tu, nacheka, niko pale na chat na msee fulani ananiambia you look beautiful today. Na huyu msee mwenye tuko naye hapa maybe hata haja notice leo nimepaka makeup, unajua na sipakangi makeup, things like those. So at the end of the day we are seeking validation, we are avoiding judgment, we are looking for happiness too, you know, at the end of the day. And social media too, sad to say, but it gives us some of these things sometimes.
Right.
But sometimes backlash in a
yes, but it's not real. And CJ, that's the thing, because sometimes because I might know like Sammy over there, Sammy Gituku, I might know him, but then on social media he's put up a different persona. and so therefore if I see him messing up, like let's say supporting Arsenal, okay, I'm kidding, like a more serious thing, like he's actually going the wrong way, and he's made the decision and he's already even posted it on social media, and this is just hypothetical, okay, he normally has a very level head, but he's posted something, made some rash decision and done it on social media, and then I'm wondering as his friend, how come he didn't consult me? I don't know. We're finding about this thing on social media. Like, what is that? Is that we are losing touch? Even as QT said, she could be here watching TikTok videos, and I'm here, but we are not talking. But she's laughing with the TikTok and not with the person sitting next to her.
You know, on the background of the sad story of the things that happen, people, and as Kenyans are, they'll always find a way to bring humor to everything. So people started talking about what cults are. And another cult is social media. Literally. It's the same reason that people join cults for, to escape something. There is a promise of getting out of what is your immediate pressure, pain, all of that, inconveniences, relationships. So you see, when you're stressed and you have me and Kitty around you, you might begin to feel that we are the source of your stress. Or we'd get mixed up with your stress. So you'd want to escape us. And that's why it's easier to get into another space. And probably that's why then somebody would be on TikTok or something, because you have put us in the same space as your stress. If you're in a stressful environment, then you conclude that everybody within that environment is part of the reason you are stressed. And you want to escape the environment plus the people that environment represents, or the people who represent that environment. So in trying to escape, you know, we've got these two personalities, Willis. We've got public personalities and private personalities. And in escaping, sometimes we want to go into a space where we can express our private personalities, which has things like our fantasies. The things that if we were just sitting by ourselves, we want to share those and express the craziest of our thoughts, where, as Kitty was saying, you know, you don't want to be judged, but you have all these crazy thoughts. So it's easier to take them to people who do not know you, who will not hold you to account, people who you're not responsible to. And you're hoping that they'll actually never meet you or see you, or they'll never really be in your space. So you can go there and get off. You can say whatever you want to say from there and get back off. But then it's usually a challenge as well, because when I go up there and say certain things and you're coming, sometimes, you know, I may post something and everybody is like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And you are in my space and you're wondering, how come I've not spoken to you about that? Then you begin to try and reach out. First of all, you feel left out. Like, why would you even get to know from a public space that I'm not okay, yet you're available? Then second of all, now you feel responsible to reach out, because even those people who are out there will begin wondering, Willis, have you checked on your friend? It will still come back. So you still bear responsibility for what I thought were my choices. You'll still bear responsibility because those people cannot help. And then thirdly, it is whether I actually will allow you to come into that space and give me any opinion. Sometimes when you come to somebody and say, Kitty, I'm not sure about what you said and what you did, what they do is they block you. I hear that people block friends and family and stuff from seeing their statuses, from seeing their stuff.
Hide status from.
So they will hide that from people that they know will hold them to account. It is a very both unfortunate and unfair place to be, because if something goes south, these are the people that are held responsible. Like, why didn't you do something? How could you not know? Yet, you can't come out and say, this person blocked me. And sometimes they don't actually block you or hide the status from you. They literally just block you in terms of, you shouldn't tell me anything. That's my social media space, or that is my status. That's just my thing. I'm doing it for fun. But you see, if you track that fun for a while, you can tell the psychology of this person. You can see where they are at. You can see whether this person is dealing with depression, or there are chances that this person is dealing with depression, but they're telling you, I'm just doing this for fun. Or you can tell this person has certain opinions about certain things. Like, I know one time I had to call out a gentleman who was close to me because all the jokes that he had would demean women. And one time I called him out and they said, no, you know, they're just jokes. I said, no, it cannot be that every time anything that demeans women will excite you. And then you share it over there. It shows your deep-seated thinking. It can't just be, those are not just jokes, you know. Every day, anything that hammers women, you bring it out. You can actually tell where somebody is psychologically, emotionally, mentally from what they constantly post. So when we don't allow the people around us to speak to us, or to hear us, or to speak into what we do, we also become very unfair to them. So yes, we want to escape, but then when reality comes, these are the support system that eventually the burden falls on.
And do you think that, QT, the other thing is, do you think people get to go this way because they see other people do it, and sort of, at least on face value, they're making it, wameomoka, they're fresh. I mean, it seems like the more they share, the more money they're making. So then it means that I need to share. I remember when I mean, anyway, it just took a life of its own. So many people started, you know, whether it is sharing things as a couple, opening a YouTube page as a couple. Of course, now many have fallen off because, again, people imagine that content creation is easy, but it's actually hard work. Many have fallen off, but then those who are there seem to be thriving. Those who have, I saw a post today say, name one mental illness that hasn't been defined, and then somebody put down there, opening an account for your baby and commenting as your baby. So not my view. I mean, I'm just saying what I saw. But if you see such like things happen, do you think people buy into this oversharing because it seems like, other people are doing it now?
You know, Willis, people are addicted to social media, and as CJ has said, social media in itself is a cult. It's a drug,
Right. In fact, somebody says the same feeling. There's a study that said, you see, when you're swiping like that, it's the same effect as somebody who's addicted to cocaine.
Actually, it's a drug, and we are addicted. Sadly, we are addicted to it. Some of us can't help it. Some of us can help it. There are people who know when to get into social media, and those who actually don't know when to do it. But back to your question, it's like we are addicted to what we see on social media. You see, when couples open these social media accounts together, you want to wake up and actually see, okay, did they break up? You see, mtaachana, tunajua wale wasi kusema mtaachana tu na hii account mtafunga tu, and we've seen that happen. But there are those people who 900,000, imagine, and they closed that account because they couldn't actually come to an agreement, you see. But once you open that door, Willis, of social media, of putting yourself out there, just be ready for anything. Be ready for the repercussions. You better be ready for the pressure that comes with, because social media comes with a certain pressure. Because if you start posting today, creating content, people think it's easy, but it's actually not easy. Because every day you need to wake up and post something, because you're already out there. That's already pressure in itself. You need to wake up in the morning and think, okay, what am I going to post today? What's the caption that's going to go? Today is Monday. Is it Motivation Monday, is it Teachings Tuesday?
Calendar.
Wednesday is for ladies or for love, it's actually throwback Thursday kama kawaida, sijui furahi day, whatever, and those are things that we need to look at. If I open this door, Willis, with my significant other or whoever, or is it my friend or myself, I want to open a YouTube page, will I be able to succumb to the pressure that comes with it? First of all, negative comments will always be there. Whether you like it or not, that's criticism will always be there. Good vibes will always be there. So ask yourself all those questions. Before you open these social media pages, will I be able to succumb to the pressure? Will I be able to create content? Because inafikaga mahali hata wewe mwenyewe hiyo content creation inakudrain, unajua unachoka, because it's actually, social media is work. People don't get it, but there are people who get paid for social media, but there are those people who just do it for fun. Kuna wale watu anaweza kosa kupost hata wiki moja na maisha inaendelea tu, but kuna ule mtu daily lazima amke ana post, unajua, na asipopost sometimes ina affect numbers zake, but kuna mtu asipopost imu affect in any kind of way, yeye anaendelea tu na maisha yake. So lazima ujue hizo vitu zote. Social media kwanza ni pressure, na lazima ujue emotional, mental, kwanza ina kudrain mentally, and then financially pia kwa watu wengine pia una need bundles, especially for things like YouTube, for things like Instagram. Kwanza unajua kuna zile social media zenye, but kuna zile you need bundles. So financially, emotionally, mentally, you first of all need to be okay yourself, because it's too much pressure. Utapost tu kitu, umevaa tu kitu, and then mtu akuje hapo a comment kitu ya ufala, unajua, and then ianze kuku affect. So una need kujua ku balance between the two. So don't succumb into pressure. Kama umedecide kufungua hiyo mlango, wewe jua tu watu watafuata life yako. Umedecide umetupostia, okay, leo niko engaged, watu wanataka kujua uko engaged kwa nani, then waende kwa social media, wewe umse ni nani, hata wa rhyme, waende history, so amedate for 5 years na tujaijua alianza ku like posts zake 5 years ago, unajua. Watu, hiyo ndio kazi. Kuna watu ukanga chini wana investigate social media, that's their job. Kuna mtu atasema nyinyi mlianza ku date 2015, unashindwa mtu alijuaje hizi vitu?
Sema hiyo ndio time uliapia kwa social media.
Hiyo ndio time uliapia kwa social media, ama mlianza jana. But ukage tu ukijua ukweli, but ukage ukijua ile minute umefungwa hiyo mlango ya social media, jua lazima you have to live with the consequences, number one, and you have to deal with the pressure. So you better know how to balance between the two. Na kama unafila uwezi, wachana na juu social media iko na wenyewe. Kwanza kuna mabanta zingine unapatanga like on something like KOT. Right. KOT hawakueki.
Yes.
My friend, uko ukienda. My friend, you need to. Yani lazima ukue tu uko sawa, mtu akikwambia kitu. Because mimi kuna social media pages zingine I just open na post na natoka. Una get like hata uko utaniona like for a whole week, but kuna ile yenye mimi post daily like venye CJ amesema ni kama cult maze, uko addicted uko hapo kila siku. Lazima ni post Instagram, lazima ni post Facebook. Followers wangu wanataka kuniona, wanataka kujua leo nimevaa nini, wanataka kujua leo nasema nini, unajua.
But that's the thing though. Wanataka kujua kweli.
Wanataka kujua. Willis wanataka kujua. Ukweli wanataka kujua.
It's a symbiotic parasitic relationship.
Hata wako addicted, wanataka kujua. Leo Willis jana alituambia kama vile nani amesema, sija amesema. Saa zingine anakuonanga kwa hizi ma blogs na yeye mwenyewe hata ajui nini na happen, but anaona story yako. Hata mimi kuna story yako niliona kwa blogs, nikakuuliza by the way. Nikakuuliza buda, kwani form ni gani? Ukaniambia kuna story iko about to break. Una get vitu kama hizo. So kuna zile
no, we can't be firefighting for you.
I know we can't be firefighting for you, Willis. Watu wako zile za anawaambia you know, but ukweli watu wanataka kujua Willis. Ukweli people need to know. Wanataka kujua, hiyo ni udaku na watu wako addicted na udaku, and that's why hizo blogs zote ziko na job. Kama watu wangekuwa wanataka kujua hawangekuwa na job. Ukionanga waki-update hivi kitu inapatanga how many likes ama how many comments in 5 minutes. 1,000 wanataka kujua Willis anafanya nini leo, Willis alisema sijui atakuwa wapi, things like those.
And that informs, I guess, anyway. So for me, right, let's ask the question first, then I'll ask this question, because that now informs why I think people should think before they post. But the question we're asking is, I don't know if the question is ready. Is it? Yes, there it is. Thank you very much. Asante sana. Question of the day. Do you think society today overshares, quote unquote, on social media? And why? Do you think society today overshares on social media, and why? That's just a question of the day to help you to think about what we're talking about. Do you think society overshares? And why? Thank you. Wait. Oh yeah. Oh, you may change kidogo. All right. Overshares and why? SMS 22422. That is the number to SMS, and use the hashtag Daybreak. Yes. This one you can share. This one you can share, and we'll share your views during the show towards the tail end. 22422 and hashtag Daybreak. So CJ, that's the thing. If people understand that there's certain scrutiny involved, probably not for everybody, but more and more you hear people say, be careful what you're posting on social media, because even if you're applying for a job, your employer will definitely want to kind of just to see the type of person you are in terms of the comments. But then doesn't it mean that, why is it that we still have a lot of careless posts? If people know people are going to see, should it then be that I need to think before I post? Should it then be that I need to have talked to it with my family, with my friends before I share? You know, I'm not doing good. People turn up to my page and all of a sudden I have the phone there, I'm crying, and I always say, kama unalia na kama huko umefinya record, alafu realize you didn't record, what happens after that? So the question is, do you then have to be, it would be that people need to be more careful, but then again we still find a lot of careless talk, and this is from everybody, including people in leadership, still tweeting and saying all sorts of things.
You know, first of all, like you won't find me on Twitter.
Okay, yeah. No Twitter.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I love myself.
Yes, yes.
Love. But, you know, there's something that happens when we come together as a crowd or a mob, the mob psychology, the peer pressure.
Right.
That if today 50 people gathered here and they started shouting, even the quietest of the people will feel the pressure that they need to shout. They may not shout as you would, but they will feel like they need to do that so that they're not left out. Right. We go into the streets and then, you know, you're pulling out your coat, you're throwing it up. We'll all find something. Somebody will pick a leaf, somebody will pick a piece of paper, handkerchief or something. There's that thing that just happens when people come into a crowd.
Right.
So when you get onto social media, it's nearly like a crowd thing. There's a whole mob psychology there. And so when people are doing certain stuff, you won't even realize how you join the crowd in doing that. You'll become part of what everybody else is doing. Because you see, when you're talking about the scrolling, you're seeing everybody's just, or nearly everybody that you know is saying something, doing something. So you feel the need to comment on what they're commenting about. You may not even have knowledge about what everybody's commenting about, but you just feel like you need to throw yourself in there. That's how things trend. Because somebody starts something, another one picks it, the next one picks it, then everybody feels like I also need to weigh in on this particular subject. So in the same manner, I mean, how do you get to spaces like Throwback Thursday?
Right.
I mean, somebody will start something, and then the next person will feel like, okay, I also have a throwback. Then before you know it, another person feels, I also have a throwback. I also have a throwback.
Right.
And then we will follow.
And the same, ukicheka na kublock.
Yeah. Then it just keeps on going.
Right.
So that may be the reason why, even when people know that there may be repercussions to what they post, they find themselves carried away. So it comes to the place of somebody's personality, whether they have such a strong personality as to withstand the pressure from other people. Can you make personal decisions? Can you stand out different from everybody? Like if everybody's going in a certain direction, can you actually stand and be apart from them? Because if you don't have that ability to withstand the pressure from people, if you don't know how to say no, if you don't know how to draw boundaries, no matter who you are in society, you will find yourself flowing the direction everybody is flowing. And this is why, Willis, even the people we call leaders, I mean, they always go with the flow. They don't really make their decisions. They go with the flow. Well, for them, it may be because there's an end game to it. But personality plays a huge role in our behavior there. That's why employers, embassies, everybody will go back to your social media, because it can tell your personality.
Right.
It can, if you look at somebody for a while, you can actually tell who this person is. So
is there such a thing as somebody building sort of a persona online that is not them, or the fact that they can build this certain persona, but then when you meet them, they're kind of different? Is it that the persona allows them to express those deep set of things you're talking about, or somebody can just be like, no, on social media I'm loud, but when you meet me I'm quiet?
So what is usually the end game to that?
Right.
You see, why you will express certain thoughts on social media is actually because you're not standing on a platform and seeing a crowd before you. You're in your private space. You have your phone. So this is Willis in his most private, secure space, just that these thoughts then find themselves into the public. But at that particular point that you're doing this, you're actually on your own. So there is the delusion that you are on your own, but then there is also that far thought that this is going to people, but you don't see the people.
Right.
So you will find, again, I come back to elements of personality, you'll find people who are very social on social media, but they can't socialize with you person to person. They will hype everybody, they will psych you, but you try to get into their space person to person, they will tell you no. And they will actually say, you know, I'm introverted, I am this, you know. So I feel that gives somebody the room to communicate without feeling the pressure of being accountable to people in the room. Now, if you're not careful, when you're within that space, you may say stuff that you should sieve and sift, because it gives you a false sense of safety, not knowing that within this safety, like now, we're sitting here, 3 of us, but there are probably 3 million people who are watching.
Right.
So it gives you that kind of a thought, like, it's just 3 of us.
Until you realize,
oh, this is going out.
Right.
So you have to balance between knowing that you are in the room, 3 of you, and who is consuming what you are saying, and how that will reflect on you out there. When people have certain kind of jobs, well, they're a bit more careful because they know what is expected of them. You cannot make comments about certain things because probably company policy or the relationship between the company and certain people. So guys will be a bit careful. Sometimes they have to create pseudo accounts to say things that they want to say.
They want to say. Is that the thing? That's what I was saying. Is that the fact that you need to create a pseudo account to say certain things, does that mean that, is it because you're being careful?
No, it is, there's something in them that they want to let out, and they're looking for a place to let that thing out. without feeling judged, as Kitty called it, without feeling judged. So they will want to create that pseudo. So they know that for purposes of work, like you may not comment about everything, even when we sit here right now. There are things you can't comment about, we can't talk about.
Yes, I know.
Even media law.
Right.
There are laws and regulations and the expectations and policies that will govern how you conduct yourself in certain things. So you may not say something, but you still have an opinion.
Right.
That you don't talk about it does not mean that you don't have an opinion. That opinion is part of your deep thoughts that you never really get to share. I think if people were to capture what people say off camera and social media, they'd be shocked.
Right.
What people say. You'd be shocked
right.
how the most diplomatic say the craziest of stuff. So I think then social media now produces that in us because it's nearly like a street where people come and say whatever they want. And then when you find people who have those personalities where they don't care, they really drive the agenda on social media. So you also feel the pressure like, okay, so-and-so has given us the freedom to be yourself. And so you come in to be yourself, then you actually lose yourself in trying to be yourself.
Right.
I think it comes back to personal choices, your ability to make decisions and whether you really have your own boundaries, and then thinking about what you represent as well. I lead some people that make me not be able to say certain things. I have certain opinions, but I can't say everything every time because I lead all kinds of people. I speak to all kinds of people. I have all kinds of people looking up to me, different generations, ethnicities, cultures. So when I've got to say something, I have to take all this into consideration. So that even if I'm going to have a personal opinion about something, it is not deliberately to put anybody down or make anybody feel bad. That, well, that's being responsible. You have your opinions, yes. It is your space. It is your timeline. It is your life. But it also affects other people beyond you.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I think people have such a disregard of people because, I mean, man, people talk about the sick, the dead, people's normal lives, sexual lives, it's like there's, especially on the Twitters, especially there's no
chills.
No chills, there's no line, there's no boundaries. So how do you for somebody who's watching who is like, they get lost and they know they get lost, and how do you come out of that? Like, do you, like you say, literally, I'm picturing you like you post and you run. You like, is that what you do? And these days, Twitter gives you like some time
to edit.
To edit, like 30 minutes. It gives you time. It also gives you like once you post, it gives you a time it's loading, then you can undo, or you can send immediately. Because there are people who, if we are to look at your Twitter drafts,
can go to jail.
That's another thing altogether. What do you think? What can somebody do to remain
neutral?
Yes, or level-headed?
I loved what CJ said. Like, some of us, you cannot just post anything on social media, especially something that is political.
Right.
I cannot post, even if I have my own opinion. But you'll find that at that particular time, I just post other things. I will never post maybe something political, something sexual, when some things are trending. You just decide, you know what, even religion is a very delicate issue, You might just decide to have your say on something, and then you get the backlash. Or I'm only protecting my image. People know QT. I love football, so maybe people associate me with football. People associate me with certain things. So when it comes to football, I cannot hold myself back. But when it comes to other things, and as CJ says, these things, they affect you. Even getting a visa, actually, they go on your social media sometimes and check what is this person talking about? Was this guy talking about our country? Like some of these things actually affect your personal life, your financial life. You want a job at Royal Media Services, but when Royal Media was trending, you are among the people that maybe you are bashing, right. Or you want a job at a certain institution, but but you've been talking negatively about these institutions. So they will go on your social media and check all these things out, you know. And there are some institutions that are very strict about social media. You might be all loud out there on social media, but when it comes to certain jobs, they'll tell you, by the way, you cannot post this. By the way, Willis, you cannot post this on social media. You need to keep your life private. Or maybe you're just having a end of year party at the office. Maybe people don't want you to post that on the social media, but that's you, you know. You love posting everything on social media. So just to balance, you need to know like what not to touch and what to touch, Willis. We mwenyewe unajijua, you know yourself. I know myself as QT. I know if I say this or if I do this, I'm a radio presenter, I'm a TV presenter, it won't come out like, right. People will be like, so you need to check yourself. This is something that actually people don't do. People don't think about what they post on social media. You post and then baadaye unakuja una delete. Unapata screenshots zilishatembea. Dosi
ashakupigia simu.
Dosi amekupigia simu. Hizi vitu ulipost na ngapi? Nilisha delete, but no. Huwezi sema uli delete. Hizi ni vitu zitakuhaunt for the rest of your life. Hata hizo YouTube videos, the videos that you post, we are a generation that tuko na watu wanakam. Wataona hizi vitu waseme, hey, my mom, you know, you're also a parent. You don't want your kids seeing some things that you post on social media. Maybe when ni church leader, kuna vitu zenye unafaa kujicheck, kufai. And I'm not saying it's pretense. It's not pretense. You just need, it's responsibility. Venye CJ amesema, you need to take responsibility. You need to take your own, like una need to put yourself in check. Because kuna wase upost vitu. Yani mpaka mimi mwenyewe nampigia simu na muuliza, hey, brother, yani umepost hiyo kitu kwa social media. Ananiambia, kwani you just, okay, sawa, ni social media yako. But later on, atakama seme, by this singepost hiyo kitu, unaona. So you need to actually balance yourself. Maybe career-wise, unajua ni nini unafanya. Maybe vitu mob. Because me, I remember when I was growing up, especially nikiwa kule, some things my mom used to tell me na post on social media, and my mom is never on social media. So nilikuwa nenda kwa social media yangu naangalia watu wenye wanaweza kwa wameongea na madhe. You know, I was like young and stupid. You know, when you're young and stupid, you're growing up, una post vitu mingi. But when I look back, I'm like, I cannot post some things on social media. Hata tukiendanga maybe public place, napata tunapiga picha, kuna vitu staki kuko associated nazo sometimes, because you're like, hey, hapana, hizi ni vitu mimi personally nataka tu kuwa responsible. I want to take accountability for my own self, not even for other people, just for me. Just as zingine unaweza sema unakuwa kichwa ngumu una post tu. No, you need to be responsible for your own self. You need to be responsible for your, ukicreate account ya social media, wejua tuna venye tumesema hiyo story ya Sudo. You know, there's so many people with Sudo accounts.
Yes.
Na utapata
bosses. Hello.
Yes. Ukweli utawapata
talk direct. Talk direct. Excuse me, bosses.
Utawapata huko wako na Sudo accounts, na utapata most of the people that are your friends wako na hizo Sudo accounts.
But that's an interesting way though, because I know like for most bosses, not just, I'm not saying just social media.
Yes.
I don't know if they do. But anyway, there are many bosses who obviously if you go on social media and find, you know,
mtu
fulani wants to follow you or requested to follow, like utakata. But if it's just somebody who's just chilling there, a random Ruben 1 2 3 4 5 6 8 9 underscore, you're like, okay, what's up Ruben? But yet kume Ruben ndio mdosi anakucheck. So I guess, I don't know, that is like just to see, I guess, to put a pulse on, you know, what people are saying. I don't know if that's acceptable, because again pia ukiona hapo, imagine people at Safaricom alafu wana Peter Ndwegwa requested to follow you.
Utakimbia. Utaheba, by the way. And it's normal, Willis. You don't want to also, as much as my life is out there, wacha tu boss wangu anionange akiwa kwa Sudo account. But hata kwa WhatsApp tu tuseme ni watu wangapi wana view status zako. Ushaendaga tu kwa WhatsApp ya mtu angalia wale watu wenye wako blocked kwa WhatsApp. Like they cannot see your status because unajua wakiona hizi vitu, my friend, huyo mtu akiona hizi vitu atanijudge. Unaget, hata ile time ya COVID unajua kuna zile vitu zenye maybe unaweza post on social kwa WhatsApp yako. Boss wako kama kwa micheki hizi ufai ku hapa saa hizi, unaelewa vitu kama hizo. So kuna zile vitu unataka utaki boss wako aone, but unajua hii ni social media. Ndio maana iko pale nje. So kama utaki boss wako aone vitu fulani ama zimfikie, then don't post them. Just put them, jieke wewe mwenyewe.
Because unaweza mblock, but
kuna
circle ya boss yako
association.
By association.
Napata Willis anaambia boss wangu cheki vile QT. Ona venye anafanya hata hizi nini si ita affect job yake. So kama utaki bosses wako ama parents wako ama watu fulani wa kuone corporate industry, then just don't post it. That's the only way you can balance Willis.
It's quite an interesting thing. So CJ, how do you and even as we wait for the feedback, I guess how do you then, if you say you want to, how do you then as somebody tell if somebody's being their authentic self for the social media space? Or do we just say that, okay, this is, because there are so many checks and balances that we need to have, you might think somebody also, again, remember in a place where people can portray a certain image on social media of affluence even, and then when you meet them, things are gagana, things are thick. So how do you tell, like, this is somebody being authentic, this is what they actually believe in, it's not just for show?
Well, I think the balance is when what is portrayed on social media can be replayed in real life. For example, if I'm going to do a video, take you around my house, can I allow you into my house? Personally now, you as Willis, can I bring you into my house? And if you come into my house, will I take you through the rooms? If I can't do that, man, then that stuff that is happening on social media, that's a show. Because why would I have an issue with you who knows me personally coming into my house and walking around the rooms, yet I will put that whole house on social media to strangers who totally do not know me and have no business knowing my stuff. If I am this very social, loud, very amiable person on social media, when you meet me face to face, is that the same persona that you find? Or will I be behaving with you like QT behaves on Twitter? Will I be avoidant or something? So that's when you get to know that there are two personalities in that particular place. And then the question then you have to ask yourself, why? What's the end game of what you're putting up on social media? You see, there are people who would be justified to do that because they're actually trying to earn money from social media. So they've got to create that content because they want followers, and when they get the followers and they're going to get the endorsements, the adverts and all that, they'll make money out of it. If you are not making money out of social media, so what's the end game of the things that you're doing? You know, one of the guys keeps on talking about his comedian turned protester now, and he talks about clout. He says entertainment is about clout. You know, you got to always, so he'll create all controversy to get people following. And that's because of the line that he has taken in his life. He needs those numbers. He talks about the showbiz. He says, you know, there's Tanzanians, they make money out of entertainment because they have a lot of showbiz and stuff like that. But if you're just a simple, not a simple, but if you're a banker, I mean, why are you creating this clout for yourself?
Right.
Because that's not where you earn from. If you were working somewhere else, why are you creating all of that around you? Why that buzz around you? If you're just going there to socialize, then keep it the way you'd keep it in a social space. If you are meeting with your friends or your family, sitting around tables, just keep it like that kind of conversation. Guard your space. Guard your space. Whom are you responding to? Whom are you looking out for? Whom are you even trying to get their likes? You know, Kitty said something about the people around you want to see stuff, but I tell you, they don't. I'll tell you the truth, they don't. I've done this experiment. You know where I was at the end of last year. So I took a 3-month hiatus from FB. I'll tell you, nobody cares about that. You'll just find a few people who will check up on you. Hey, are you okay? The rest of the people, day 1, day 2, they'll just say, I'm not seeing Willis on social media a bit. Then they get into the next thing. They move on. They move to the next person. So you would imagine they're actually waiting for you to say something, but it's not true. It is you imagining for them.
They're waiting.
That they're waiting. So you live with that in your head, thinking these people really look out for what you're doing. If you disappear there for a while, you'll realize their lives move on. And even the ones who have direct contact with you may not even check up on you.
Right.
So it's just something we tell ourselves, that these guys need to see what I am doing. You can determine and decide, this is what I will allow people to see. So I'm on social media probably for business, for networking, for getting the likes so that I'm in entertainment, so I want to get the likes, I want to get the numbers or something, or whatever reason. Once you define why you are there, it will also define what you put out there. But if that is not defined, we keep on getting mixed up a lot. Then sometimes we become very upset that that space didn't treat us so well.
All right, well, I'll take just one comment here and then we'll wrap it up in terms of feedback. All right, let's take a look. This is Anese Mwezi. People will always seek for validation from some place. It's tell them that it's human nature. That's what's up. All right. Well, like I said, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate. Big shout out to Roberta Bobby. She will be with us hopefully next week. And to Shazmin, we are waiting. Thanks so much. Listen, as you're out there on social media, remember, Kwamba, most of these things are a facade. Just try to be true to yourself and true to the people around you first, and then let what you put on social media be like what they call an addendum, an addition to everything else. But be true to who you are in whatever it is you're posting, whatever it is you're doing. And also, if you see all these things happening on social media, don't fall into the pressure. Just because somebody's building a house doesn't mean it's a good thing, but doesn't mean you have to build a house. Take it at your own pace and you will get there eventually. Mungu wabariki sana. Arsenal, I'll see you at the bottom.